Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachal Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Sri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. We will read today Canto 2, Chapter 5, verses 36 and 37. Verse. Yasye havayo vair lokan kalpayantiti manishinaha katya adibhir adah sapta rodhvam jaganadibhi. Okay. Yasya, whose, iha, in the universe, avayavai, by the limbs of the body, lokan, all the planets, kalpayanti, imagine, manishinaha, great philosophers, kati adibihi, down from the waist, adaha, downwards, sapta, 7 systems, sapta urdhvam, and 7 systems upwards, jaganna adibihi, front portion. Translation. Great philosophers imagine that the complete planetary systems in the universe are displays of the different upper and lower limbs of the universal body of the Lord. Let's read the 37 also. Purushasya mukam brahma kshatram etasya bhavaha urvor vaishyo bhagavataha padhabhiyam sudro व्यजयात् पुरुषस्य मुखं ब्रह्म क्षत्रम् एतस्य भावः ऊर्वोर्वैश्यो भगवतः पद् पद् पद्भ्यां शूद्रो व्यजयता. Anybody like to read the verses?
I can read Prabhu one.
Yes, go ahead.
Yasheva vaya lokan kalpayanti manishina katyadbhir adhashapta saptodvam jaganadibhi. Next one also.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Purushasya mukham brahma kshatram etasya bhava urvor vaishyo bhagavata padbhyam sudro vijayata.
Anyone else like to read?
I can read, Prabhu.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Yashehava yavailokan kalpayanti manishina katya adibhir adaha sapta saptordhvam jaganadibhi. 37. Purushasya mukham brahma shatram etasya bahava urvorvaishyo bhagavata padbhyam shudro vyajayata.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else? Okay. Let's read the purport of the 36. Translation. Great philosophers imagine that the complete planetary systems in the universe are displays of the different upper and lower limbs of the universal body of the Lord. Purport. The word kalpayanti or imagine is significant. The Virat universal form of the Absolute is an imagination of the speculative philosophers who are unable to adjust to the eternal two-handed form of Lord Sri Krishna. Although universal form, as imagined by the great philosophers, is one of the features of the Lord, it is more or less imaginary. It is said that the 7 upper planetary systems are situated above the waist of the universal form, whereas the lower planetary systems are situated below his waist. The idea impressed herein is that the Supreme Lord, conscious of every part of his body, and nowhere in the creation is there anything beyond his control. Okay, let's read 37. 37. Purushasya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukham, mouth, Brahma in the Brahmanas, Kshatram, the royal order, Etasya of him, Bhavaha, the Bhavaha, the arms, Urvoho, the thighs, Vaishya are the mercantile men, Bhagavataha of the personality of the Godhead, Padbhyam from his legs, Shudraha the laborer class, Vyajayataha, become manifested. Translation: the Brahmanas represent his mouth, the Kshatriyas his arms, the Vaishyas his thighs, and the Shudras are born of his legs. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. All living beings are stated to be the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and how they are so is explained in this verse. The four divisions of the human society, namely the intelligent class, the Brahmanas, the administrative class, the Kshatriyas, the mercantile class, Vaishyas, and the laborer class, the Shudras, are all in different parts of the body of the Lord. As such, no one is different from the Lord. The mouth of the body and the legs of the body are non-different constitutionally, but mouth or head of the body is qualitatively more important than legs. At the same time, the mouth, the legs, the arms, and the thighs are all component parts of the body. These limbs of the body of the Lord are meant to serve the complete whole. The mouth is meant to speak and eating. The arms are meant for the protection of the body. The legs are meant for carrying the body, and the waist of the body is meant for maintaining the body. The intellect class in society, therefore, must speak on behalf of the body, as well as accept foodstuff to satisfy hunger of the body. The hunger of the Lord is to accept the fruits of sacrifice. The Brahmanas or the intelligent class must be very expert in performing such sacrifices, and the subordinate classes must join in such sacrifices. To speak for the Supreme Lord means to glorify the Lord by means of the propagating the knowledge of the Lord as it is, broadcasting the factual nature of the Lord and the factual position of all other parts of the whole body. The Brahmanas, therefore, are required to know the Vedas are the ultimate source of knowledge. Veda means knowledge, and Anta means the end of it. According to Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhu. And thus, the end of the knowledge, Vedanta, is known the Lord, is to know the Lord. To know our relationship with Him and to act according to that relationship only. The parts of the body are related to the body. Similarly, the living being must know his relationship with the Lord. The human life is especially meant for this purpose, namely to know the factual relationship of every living being with the Supreme Lord. Without knowing this relationship, the human life is spoiled. The intelligent class of men, the Brahmanas, are therefore especially responsible for broadcasting this knowledge of our relationship with the Lord and leading the general masses of people to the right path. The administrative class is meant for protecting the living beings so that they can serve this purpose. The mercantile class is meant for producing food grains and distributing them to the complete human society so that the whole population is given a chance to live comfortably and discharge the duties of the human life. The mercantile class is also required to give protection to the cows in order to get sufficient milk and milk products, which alone can give the proper health and intelligence to maintain a civilization perfectly meant for knowledge of the ultimate truth. And the laborer class, who are neither intelligent nor powerful, can help by physical service to the other higher classes and thus be benefited by their cooperation. Therefore, the universe is a complete unit in relationship with the Lord. And without this relationship with the Lord, the whole human society is disturbed and is without any peace and prosperity. This is confirmed in the Vedas. Brahmanosya mukam asid bahu rajanya kritaha. Hare Krishna. So in these two shlokas, so the entire creation is created and maintained and destroyed by the Supreme Lord. So particularly in this 37 verse, it is mentioned that the varnas are created by the Supreme Lord Himself. The Bhagavad Gita, it is very specifically mentioned that all the divisions that we see in the society are created by the Supreme Lord. But unfortunately, um, in the society, there is a misunderstanding which is causing havoc or a division within the society. How it may not be much prevalent, especially I'm talking in the Indian society, in the urban areas, but these days, but still in the rural areas, there is a clear division. Like the the people who are in the laborer classes, they are not allowed to worship. I mean, enter into the temples and read the Vedas or the scriptures. So that particular aspect created among those peoples not to believe in the Lord or not to believe in the scriptures. So this whole thing went against the what is stated in the scriptures. But some parts of the people propagated that they are not supposed to read the scripture. They don't have any right to enter into the temples. So all these things really alienated them. So the society unity has really destroyed. And those people were not given any opportunity to realize the purpose of the life. So whereas here, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is clearly saying that all these divisions are created by me only. So um, it's not that um, these are created by the humans. It's created by the Supreme Lord Himself. So it's very nicely Prabhupada explained, and in the sloka also, Brahmanas, they represents the head or mouth, so which is very important. It's not that other parts of the body are not important, but primarily this particular part will control the rest of the body. So Srila Prabhupada very nicely said, see, the Brahmanas means, see, the English word really helps to make more sense and broader, intelligent. So he said that, so the intelligent class is everywhere, not just only in Indian society. So here the Brahmanas represents the intelligence. So, I mean, the myth is another greatest myth is one becomes or belongs to any of these varnas based on the birth. So that myth is really dismantled or in the Bhagavad Gita are clearly mentioned. One does not become a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Sudra by their birth. So a person who born in the Brahmanas, it doesn't mean that he is a Brahmana. Why? It's not about in which family he born. It is about what character, what qualities he possesses. That qualifies him as a Brahmanas, right? So I can imagine before coming to, Srila Prabhupada teachings, I was at a project, and then there are some friends. We went out for a restaurant, and during the conversation, a person who was a colleague of mine, he was claiming that I'm a Brahmana, but I still eat non-vegetarian. So at that time, I also felt, what kind of this thing? Until that, I didn't have the clarity that it's not by birth one becomes Brahmana. So that misunderstanding is there in the society that need to be clarified, because without that clarification, people think okay, why the Lord has created these divisions. So it is not that Lord has created these divisions for a purpose, but it doesn't prohibit them from worshipping the Lord, or for them to understand the purpose of the life. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying that Brahmanas, this intelligent class, they are the intelligent people. So a person, just because he born in that family, doesn't mean. So if they don't follow, don't have the proper understanding of the scriptures, they are even less than Shudras. So that myth need to be clarified. So we all know that one time when Srila Prabhupada, he came to Western country, US, particularly on his Guru Maharaj's instruction to spread this Krishna conscious. And after uh, several years, one time he went to Hyderabad. And that time, the so-called Brahmanas were they were having a verbal confrontation with him. How come you are going to the other countries and giving this knowledge to the people who are not qualified? So they were having this confrontation. So then, after listening all this, Srila Prabhupada, with all the references, he gave what is the position of who is first of all the Brahmana. Brahma Janati Brahmana, one who has this broader mind. Brahmana means he is not only well versed in the Vedic scriptures, and he is also broader minded person. So his responsibility is to educate others also. It is not that you born in a Brahmana family and you keep this knowledge to yourself without giving to others. So that is very unfortunate situation. And he said, your duty, you know the purpose of the life, you know the scriptures, what it is saying, you have to educate others. That is your responsibility. But on top of that, you are saying that only the Brahmanas are in India, and only certain families, only they can do this shastric reading, and others doesn't have. So he dismantled their myth. And when Srila Prabhupada with so many references, they could not say anything. So a person who understands, then they go beyond what they educate the masses. Here also, right, Brahmanas, that is very important. It's not that you use this knowledge for your own self, and you, you use this knowledge in order to share also, because in the Bhagavad Gita the Lord says, who are very dear to me, who who I have, the people who share this knowledge with others are very dear to me. See, that is all about the Srila Prabhupada movement. Is a preaching movement. It is giving this knowledge to everybody, because in this sloka and the entire thing, all the living entities are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. So when we all belong to the Supreme Lord, maybe because of various reasons, different people have different tendencies. But giving this knowledge back, going back to the Godhead, going back to our original home, that is the ultimate purpose, right? So that is what Srila Prabhupada is proclaiming. So, and in this regard, I want to mention, you might know, in recently in Hyderabad, there is a statue of unity, Sri Ramanujacharya's statue. A very gigantic statue was established. So from his life, one time, I mean, when Ramanujacharya was initiated in that sampradaya, it is a practice that the guru utter the mantra that he need to chant. He whispers in their ear, and it's a practice that they keep secret. But Ramanujacharya, after receiving the initiation, after receiving the mantra from the guru, he goes into the village. In the center of the village, there was a kind of a pillar, and he climbs on that, and he invites everybody, because everybody is looking, they were looking what Ramanujacharya is doing, why he is climbing on there. And then on top of that, he stands and proclaims that today I'm going to give you the mantra that delivers you. And then he openly, whatever the secret mantra that he received, he openly tells everybody. He loudly he gives that mantra. So then after that, he comes to Guru, and Guru learns that that he has broke the promise, and then the mantra that he was given, he revealed to everybody. And then the Guru says, you have done broke the promise, and you go to the the hell. Then Ramanujacharya says, I don't mind going to the hell, but I want all the living entities, all the people should meditate on this, go back to the Lord, go back to their original home. See, that is the quality of Brahmana is he establishes. So till then, even these the lower class are called Shudras were not allowed into the temples. He opened for them, they are allowed into the temples also. So he broke the myth, or the whatever the confusion are created by some of the people, and then he made everybody to worship the Lord. See, that is the magnanimity of the real Brahmana. So a real Brahmana is one who does not keep things for himself, but he shares. That is the broadened mindness of the Brahmanas. So that is the true Brahmana. It's not by virtue of by birth. Of course, by taking birth in that family, it is a advantage. Why? Because a person who took birth in the other classes of the varnas practicing, that it will be bit difficult, because right from the birth itself they have that environment. So there is a progress fast progress is possible, one who takes in the birth. But it doesn't mean that in the other class who are fall into other classes cannot read Shastra or cannot practice the spiritual aspects for their to realize the purpose of the life. So that's very important. Now, then the Kshatriya class. So Kshatriyas also, see now nowadays if we look at Kshatriya class, or do we see real Kshatriyas? I was listening to some time back one of the purport in the lectures. Srila Prabhupada says that these days, in the olden days, those days, the true Kshatriyas were there. So when they go for a war or in the battlefield, they go for any war, they themselves are in the forefront of the fighting, not in the back. And also, it is their, I mean, they have this vow. I'm going to the war. Either I can only return if if we win the war, or I give up my life in the war. Those are only two options. That is the spirit of the Kshatriyas during those days. But now, if we see in the current society, we don't see that kind of the so-called the head of the country. He just gives the order, and they the rest of the whatever the army or they go and fight. But in those days, the true Kshatriya is the one who goes and fights for the people. So Kshatriya family is also Kshatriyas are also important to protect the living beings, right? So it's very so how the head of the family is important. The Kshatriyas are also important. And then the mercantile class. So in order for this body to sustain, the food is needed. So the food is grown by the mercantile class. So I mean, it's but if we look at current society, in the name of in the name of the business, people are greed for the profits. They keep the profits for them, but the ultimate when it is the whole division made, they the Vaishya's duty is to keep some part of the whatever the extra income for the livelihood of for their families and for them, but rest to serve the society. That was the motto. But look at today, if we look at the society, uh, the gap between rich and poor is day by day is growing. Look at the so-called billionaires and trillionaires. How much, so much greed. There is no end for greed, right? I mean, day by day, what will you do? See, for a person to live happily, few things are needed: nice shelter, nice food. But beyond this, people have this greed to make money so much. Why? Because the whole greed is coming because of lack of the understanding what is the purpose of the life. So the other day I was with some of friends, we were discussing, and because people are now kind of having with the COVID, being it not socializing, they were a little bit everybody is going through some kind of psychological thing. And then they were thinking about, now they are thinking, oh, those days used to be nice. Then they are thinking, what is the purpose of the life? And when we when we talk about these things, they think happiness is ultimate thing. Yes, happiness is ultimate thing, ultimate that. But How do we get that understanding? What is the purpose of the life? Is that something our own realization? Somebody said nicely that yes, we need to realize what really we want in life. That only make us happy. But I, this whole thing is ready-madely available when people read the scriptures. See, otherwise we don't need to. Of course, with the Supreme Lord's mercy, somebody may realize beyond this materialism, there is something very important thing is there. But when we are so fortunate that the Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures we are reading, and Srila Prabhupada made so simple, because otherwise, in one sense, the Vedic literature is so vast, it is not possible within this lifetime to read everything. Even though you read and come to a conclusion, it's very difficult because there are so many aspects, but the essence is given in this Bhagavad Gita, and only the Guru can give us that essence very easily, and he can also guide more than not only he gives the essence, but also understanding our tendencies. He guide us, okay, this is the way you should practice, because he dovetails our activities and aligns with the ultimate benefit what is the scriptures are saying. So here they were thinking, okay, and Shilap, I mean, okay, happiness, but is it happiness is really there in this world? Because constantly one or the other problems. Somebody very nicely they describe happiness is nothing but a short gap between two problems, isn't it? One after the, because this very people, mundane people may also think that, realize, but Bhagavad Gita clearly says, right, this place is this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is a place of miseries. And even some people think, oh, it's not misery, but it a temporary. Everybody knows this one, whether a spiritualist or a normal man. They everybody understand this is a temporary place. Everybody knows that death is inevitable, but yet we day in day out put so much effort on things that are only to acquire material, to acquire more and more, right? And we can also see in our lives. I can give a practical in my own life. This is like 10 years back. We were in Chicago, and then due to work, I happened to go to Pittsburgh. And that time we just moved from a home to an apartment. And personally, I felt so blissful because I don't need to take care of anything. Everything is just small space, easy to maintain. And if you have any problem, just call the apartment and association. They just take care. But now, look at this. We aspire for bigger and bigger houses. I'm just saying nothing wrong. I'm just saying my perspective. Um, we tend to accumulate so much. But truly, this uh, acquiring these things will really give happy? No, it doesn't give happy. Shopping is one of the people go for shopping. Some people like some say, okay, shopping is my hobby. Somebody was saying, wow, to keep somebody, it may be a temporarily a person may feel okay, I've got this, but they become happy. But after a few days, that fades away, right? So now, what is the practical downside of acquiring this so much? See, when we buy something, one aspect is we are spending so much money, but forget about money. To acquire that money, how much time you have to spend? That is the real thing that we have to look. Okay, to make that money, you have to spend so much time going to the work, and as you spend more, you have to spend more time for the work and all these things, right? So this is somebody was saying in India, a devotee, he got this opportunity, and he wanted purposely, he wanted to keep his life simple, so he did not went for the big opportunity that he has. So I'm not saying that everybody should do, but whatever works for them. But in the beginning, I kind of that why this person is doing, but that person has been practicing the Krishna conscious, and he understood the more and more I entangle, the more and more I'm getting into this, and my time for sadhana is going away. So that is a very profound realization, and put it in practice, it's another thing. So that is very important. It's not about how much money we have, but it's how much time you have to spend on to make that money. So the Brahmanas, I mean, see, the Vaishyas, their duty is to take care of to grow the all the merchant class. It's important for their duty is to feed the society. So that is the noble cause. So, but how do they get this understanding? Because in the olden days, one of the practice, these merchants, for everything they used to have proper guidance from these brahmanas. So by that day, and whatever, see, if you look at in those days, the merchantal class Vaishyas are big in charity. Why? They understood, yes, this is my nature, I'm making money, I'm growing all these things, but they used to do so much charity. So that understanding was there. So with that understanding, they are helping the rest of the society. Now the Shudras, the laborer class. So in order for a society, the laborer class is also important, right? Because the society there are so many activities that need to be done. So to perform those activities, the so-called other physical activities, that people also needed. So nicely it is said on this labor class. So there was one time, I think it is Radhanath Maharaj was giving a lecture in Mumbai. It so happened to be, I all the he was went to a, I think it is uh, a, all the chartered accounts. So they were graduating, and it so happened, and Maharaj was giving the class. So it went fine. And after that, during the end of the class, there was a question and answer sessions. So then this chartered account, one person, he stood up and asked Maharaj, why I feel this all the so-called monks, saints, they don't do any work, and they are just become a burden on the society. Whereas other people are doing some other thing, and they are contributing something to the society. And then Maharaj, I mean, he was saying, he said that he felt shocked with that question. So Maharaj, then he said, very nicely, he said, what do you think if the whole society has only chartered accounts? Then why others practices should be there? Then he said, how, if the society has only chartered account, it cannot function. It needs doctors, it needs teachers, it needs administrators. Like how the society needs various professionals, similarly society also needs these monks, or sannyasis, or sadhus, to guide the society and to give this scriptural knowledge. So this is also, we are also, I mean, these people are also contributing to the society. And in fact, the the spiritual class people are giving the ultimate important thing for the society. So it is like that, how a society needs the different professionals, it also needs these the sadhus to give this knowledge. So it's very nicely, right? So how people think, because they don't have, they born in that family, and the family doesn't have any scriptural or any uh, mm, understanding of the scriptures, or they just for the purpose of they do pujas. I mean, mostly people, unless they are atheists, they do some kind of pujas. What the ultimate motto is, whatever they are doing in their life, they want to get benefit. So okay, there is some invisible person is there. If we do puja or worship, we get that benefit. That is a misunderstanding. That is the kind of business people are doing. So even people in South India, they very commonly they go to Tirupati and they pray to the Lord. Okay, Lord, I'm doing this business. If I get this much, I will donate. Of course, I mean, we are any problems in our life, we can go and pray for to the Lord for to uh, to overcome that problems. But it is not we are going, because Srila Prabhupada says we don't need to go and beg for these small things, food, and these are basic things. The Lord gives sanctions, but we need to go and pray for the real things. Suppose somebody says, if the president of the country is coming and today he is giving an appointment for you, so what will you ask? If you ask for, okay, give me a job or give me something, that is temporary, but you need to ask something to that stature. So similarly, the Lord is a supreme Lord. So the right thing we should beg, right thing we should ask. So that understanding only comes from the scriptures. And who can give? The Brahmanas, who are the intelligent people. They should educate the masses. So that is what it is. So finally, um, also there is so much confusion, right? If we go to these temples, this is one clear distinction you can see and you can observe. Whenever you go to the temples, other temples, um, um, most of the times, I'm not saying all the priests are like that, but most of the priests, when we go there, they suggest us, okay, do this kind of sacrifice so that you get these benefits. So it's all about you do this sacrifice you for the purpose of overcoming. But no priest truly tell them, yes, you need to start living like this. Because I haven't seen anywhere in my life, no priest, until I come to Srila Prabhupada temples, ISKCON temples, where it is a preaching. It is, they say gradually, they they tell us, okay, chant Maha Mantra and everything. They that education is there. See, temples are not merely about um, worship. Yes, worship is the main thing, but more importantly, ISKCON temples are about preaching. That whatever the intelligent class, the Brahmana class is supposed to do, that preaching is taking place. That is very important. Because if the scriptures and everything is only for Brahmana class, then why would Chaitanya Mahaprabhu give this simplest formula for us, the Sankirtana movement? Just he doesn't say that only this should be Brahmana class. It should be everybody, not only in India but throughout the world. Every living entity deserves this. There is no qualification required for that. It doesn't need to be Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya. It can be Shudra, anybody. In fact, Chandalas also. are entitled. That is the magnanimity of our acharyas. So Srila Prabhupada very nicely puts in this what is varnas. So these varnas are not by birth, one by nature. They becomes what kind of activity they can perform. So you can perform any activity, but you are you should you are allowed to read the scriptures, and you are allowed to worship, and you can understand the purpose of the life, and in you have the you are allowed to go back to the Supreme Lord. It doesn't matter in which varna you are. So that is the beauty of the great acharyas, the true brahmanas. So just I thought to highlight some of those. Okay, I will end here. If you have any comments or anything, please. Hare Krishna. I will end the call now here.
We'll wait for a few more seconds, Prabhu, to see if anybody has comments.
Okay.
Very nice class, Prabhu. Thank you. I think, as usual, very detailed explain about these different varnas, the purpose. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Prabhu, thank you so much then.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.